You know, I feel bad for Stephen A. Smith. Deep down, I think Stephen A. is a rational dude. I think he is a common sense thinker. I don't think he actually believes that everything boils down to race. I know he calls himself a Democrat, but I don't think Stephen A. Smith is aligned with the modern Democratic Party. He's not a socialist. He's definitely not an Islamist. Stephen A. might align with old school Democrats, but I think there are a lot of modern Republicans who used to be 90s Democrats. Matter of fact, the Democratic Party of the 1990s, it's essentially the modern day Republican Party. The problem with Stephen A. Smith, he doesn't have the courage to stand in what he believes in. Like most Democrats, like most old school Democrats, he doesn't have the courage to defy the radicals. He's terrified of Jazz Crockett and her minions and maniacs. I'd be willing to bet Stephen A. Smith is terrified to criticize Zorro Mamdani. Stephen A. Smith is a chameleon. On Fox News with Sean Hannity, he seems normal. When he's appearing with the brothers on their podcast, Stephen A. is one of the boys, which is fine. That's fine. When he's appearing with Chris Cuomo, hey, it's me, Chrissy C. When he's appearing with Chris Cuomo on News Nation, Stephen A. is a moderate Democrat because Chris Cuomo is a moderate Democrat. The Stephen A. Smith that we see on YouTube and SiriusXM is not the Stephen A. Smith that we see at the worldwide leader in woke, ESPN. This dude is a man of many faces. Who is the real Stephen A. Smith? This is the reason I feel bad for him, because at 58 years old, I don't think Stephen A. Smith knows who Stephen A. Smith is. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the main channels in the description below. Thursday night, the Miami Minnows were humiliated by the Baltimore Ravens. The Minnows are screwed. They committed major money to Tua Tagovailoa, who's been captain of the bum squad since his days at Alabama. Well, Casey, that's not true. Tua is a legend! Tua sucks. I remember his first or second year in the league. He could not complete a pass over 10 yards. The problem for Miami, they can't get rid of their real problem. There is not a team in this league that is willing to trade for this heavily bloated contract. The only thing the Dolphins can do right now is fire their general manager and fire head coach Mike McDaniels. Friday morning, they completed half of that equation by firing general manager Chris Grier. Firing the GM, that is usually step one in a rebuild. Gail Benson, did you hear what I just said? Supposedly, the Saints are in a rebuild right now, but they are rebuilding with the same doofus who lit the spark to light this flaming ass fire. But anyway, the Dolphins fired their general manager, but they are retaining head coach Mike McDaniels through the rest of the regular season. According to Stephen A. Smith, this is a clear case of mythical racism. Watch for yourself.
This BS. That's the first fire? Really? That's what we doing? Well, what we've seen, what we just finished talking about. You know, there's things that need to be modified, et cetera, but the personnel that they have on their squad, although we're not happy with it, we didn't walk into this season thinking they were going to be trash. We looked at their roster and we said they got some potential. We'll see what happens. It was about Tua. It was about Mike McDaniel. And the brother get fired first. All I know is this. I better hear Mike McDaniel's name today.
Oh, my God.
I better hear Mike McDaniel's name today.
But
it better not be just Chris Grier.
You just heard him say it. They fired the brother first. Last I checked, The trio of huge embarrassing failures in Miami, they were all what ESPN would describe as birthing persons of color. With that being the case, what the hell does race have to do with this? That is exactly what my boy Bobby Burack at Outkick asked Stephen A. Smith yesterday. Now, Bobby did not release the entirety of their text exchange publicly, so I'm not going to show the messages here, but let's just say Stephen A. Smith was mad, mad, mad. Why would Stevie be upset if he hadn't done anything wrong? Why would Stevie be upset over a simple question? All Bobby asked was why Stephen A. thought it was necessary to inject race into the conversation. In typical Stevie fashion, he replied, "I said what I said, and I meant it, damn it! Don't waste my time with your implications!" What? You're accusing Bobby Burack of implications. Weren't you the one that implied that race had something to do with Chris Grier getting fired? Weren't you the one that said the brother was fired first? Would you have said the same thing if Mike McDaniel was fired yesterday morning? Because according to ESPN, Mike McDaniel is a brother too when it fits their narrative. You know, I'm disappointed in Stephen A. Smith because I thought he was coming around. Once he launched his show on YouTube, I thought we were beginning to see the real Stephen A. Smith. But ever since he was spanked for having the audacity to criticize Jasmine Crockett, the same Jazz Crockett who is currently the MVP of the Republican Party, ever since Stevie was spanked for criticizing Jazz, he has spent the last few weeks pandering to the so-called leaders of the black community. Like I said, I feel bad for him because at 58 years old, I don't think Stephen A. Smith knows who Stephen A. Smith is. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.